Hello friends and welcome back for another episode of Indie Impressions. My name is Nick and today we're going to be checking out the alpha version of BeamNG.Drive by developer BeamNG. This is a driving game with a really amazing set of soft body physics that the developers have worked painstakingly on. And we're going to be demonstrating out quite a bit of, I have to say I've spent a number of hours already with this program/engine, and it is absolutely phenomenal. Check this out. It's pretty beautiful, you know. I'm not always the type of person to be into looking at destruction in a lot of ways, but this is pretty incredible. So I mean, this is just one of the many sets of beautiful wreckage we could create here. So let's turn the time back to normal. And yeah, we have completely destroyed this truck. It's basically gone. Like, I've impaled the windshield with that thing, and we can actually switch to, this is the passenger, or the driver's view, I believe, and it's actually been ejected into the bed of the truck. There's the from the hood view, from the side next to the door, we've got, and then an out of car view. It's a pretty wild thing. Let's go back to the title screen and let's introduce us properly here. Give me 1 second, let's go exit to main menu. And here is our title screen. Okay, so there are two things to know about BeamNG.Drive. First off, there's a tech demo slash, demo version of the game. I am actually using the full version, which you can purchase from the developer's website, which of course will be linked in the description if you want to go check it out. Once you get that, you will be able to access a number of other locations other than the grid type area we were just in, the grid map. Which just gives you the truck and the this little place to run around. It's actually not that little. There's actually quite a bit to do there. So I do implore you, go check out the free demo of this, or tech demo of this. You're not going to regret it. Like I said, I spent a few hours just messing around with the crashes. But then there's all these other areas. There's a small island USA. There's an industrial site. There's a totally empty grid. There's a dry rock island. And there's a derby arena, as well as one of my very favorites here, the cliff, which we're going to make a quick run on. Because it's probably one of the best ways to show off how crazy the destructible engine lets things just totally break down to nothing. Alright, so here we go. We're going to drop a truck into the mix here. A couple of them, actually. You may have even seen this. There's been videos that have floated around various places, and it's going to take a bit of a hit on the frame rate, unfortunately, just due to the fact that I'm recording. But don't let that dissuade you. It looks beautiful regardless. So the truck is just going to crumple, break apart, bits are going to fly off of it. The whole thing is going to probably end up pretty much like a little ball at the end. Oh, there goes, I think the muffler might just be about to shoot off there. The whole thing is deformed into a totally different angle. There's not much of a truck left at this point. I'm wondering what happened to the other cars. They're still working their way down as well. And provided the engine doesn't take terminal damage, the vehicle will still drive as long as it is able to. So you would be able to potentially see the effects of what something like this might do to the wheels if you were in a position to still have a working engine, which obviously you would not be. So if I could turn around the viewpoint here, can we do that? No? Oh, okay, there goes one of the other cars. Looks like the viewpoint might be fixed right now, and I can't actually seem to switch into the driver position perspective. No problem. Let's go back out again, and we'll go to another area. There's a lot more experimentation we can do if we head on over to the grid map. Kind of want to show off some of the more granular stuff, and then we'll try a couple other cars, because that is another feature. Like I said, you normally just get the truck with the tech demo version, but the full version you get a bunch of different cars. I think there's 5 or so in total. There's like a sports car, some sort of a sedan, cop car. There's like a truck, like a storage truck that you can use, like a cargo truck, I mean. And each of them, I think, have a few different skins. And I'll go through that in a minute, but I just want to show you. So here's, the nitty-gritty. Let's switch to the driver's seat, and we can see this is a, fairly accurate rendition of what this might look like if you were driving through this little obstacle course here. Of course, there are some things that are just completely surreal and insane, but, again, this is just for fun, and this is just sort of a trial thing, just to mess around with more than anything. And there's a number of different angles and ramps and crazy stuff you can launch yourself off of, and I think it'll give you a pretty good idea of just how crazy things can be. So I'm not exactly sure of what the practical applications are going to be for this particular vehicle simulation, whether we're going to go full-on driving, whether we're going to make this more of like a burnout scenario. I'm not sure, but however it turns out, I think everyone wins, because this is the exact sort of thing that I've wanted to see in games for the longest time. You know, I'm not super crazy about tons of racing games, but there are a few that I've definitely really enjoyed in the past, one of those being Burnout, another one of those being Dirt. So I can actually get into some of the rally racing type stuff if the conditions are right, and I think if Dirt had a physics simulation like this one, it would be an absolutely phenomenal experience, and more so than it even was, and I thought it was quite phenomenal to begin with. Oh, why do we have nose? Why is this a thing? Oh, I guess it didn't load the texture for the skid mark pattern, so we're going to be drawing no on the ground. I think it's just like no texture or something. Alright, that's a little silly, and it seems to be leaving little orange markers all over the ground. Guess we'll just have to paint the town orange then. Alright, then let's have some more fun with it. Let's crash into some cubes and see some more deformation of our vehicle, or something like that anyway. Let's not crash here yet, though. I want to get around here. The driving, like the actual minute-to-minute driving, might still need a little bit of tuning, but like I said, it's still in alpha, and I think perhaps just early alpha, too, so, you know, you can't be too upset at that stuff. It's all still in the works. And if you do happen to go pick up the game right now, you get access to all of the future versions, sort of like the Minecraft scenario of purchases for an indie game. And I have no issues with that. I think it works out pretty much fine, as long as, you know, the initial offer is worth the price, and I think it is. There's, like I said, hours worth of content here to mess around with. And, you know, if you're into just exploiting the physics system and just seeing what kind of wreckage you can create, like I said, you'll have a ton of fun with this, just messing around. And then we can do little things like we can reset our car's position. Oh, let's switch cars, actually, because we've been on this one for a while. Hitting F1 brings up our controls. I am using the 360 controller to mess around, and of course I can mix and match here if I wanted to, and just using one or the other. Let's do our vehicle selection, which is Control E, and that will bring up a little menu here on the side, and we can pick one of the faster cars. We've got a Corvette 1.5 DXi Turbo Forward Drive Rally, a Sport, or just the straight-up forward-wheel drive. Let's go with the Rally. Let's see what that looks like. Alright, it's a pretty standard-looking car. It's actually kind of a nice one to know about, because I have a feeling there are quite a few scenarios when this type of car would be best suited for driving. So the sports car-style ones, they tend to be a little bit on the overzealous side when it comes to acceleration. Let's let off our accelerator right now and watch as this car gracefully plummets to the ground. Well, quite slowly, in fact. We can take our time and look around, get a good perspective on things, and we can actually manually control exactly how fast the timer is going to go. There we go. Oh yeah, everything's falling apart. So if I wanted to speed this up by just a little increment here, I could just hold Alt and hit right on the arrow keys, and then we actually can drive a little bit faster through the timeline. And then we'll hit Control and up, and that puts us back on full time. And looks like we didn't actually destroy the car on that one, which is kind of nice. So that means we can potentially destroy it a little bit more on the next run, whatever that may be. Let's see if we can spike it through that same spot that I hooked the truck with at the beginning. I find that to be one of the more satisfying things to smash it into. Oh, wow, okay, so I was a little late on the draw there with the timer. Looks like I actually passed through that relatively unscathed, but we do have this cube coming up, so let's speed up a little bit in our timeline. Just mashed up the door a little bit there, and we'll keep steering towards this cube, and we should be in a great position to make some really lovely wreckage here. Here we go, and 3, 2, 1, crash! That is quite lovely, I have to say. I don't think I've ever seen a physics system quite as lovely as this one, and I mean, Burnout 3 I thought was excellent. It had some really nice squishy physics to it. This one goes above and beyond, and there was also, back in the day, Carmageddon 2. I don't know if you guys all had that one. I had it for the Mac, and it had also, you know, some of the earliest that I've ever seen soft body physics done. And it was pretty impressive at the time. I mean, you could actually split a car in half and see how that manifests in the driving situation. In this case, there is no more driving situation for us. This car is completely totaled. What I'd love to see, though, is what can we do to the back of the car and potentially still make it out, still being able to drive. Well, what I could do is I could set myself up in a position where maybe I have a nice little thing going on in front of me that I could lock my spawn position into, and then we could take a few passes at it, and just, I want to see how badly it's going to mess up this car just going over these little nubs here, and actually I think it did a pretty good number on it. Also, there is this little divider splitty thing over here that I want to mess with a little bit. Oh, and we've got the thing where you can just hook one tire on it and then make the car do a flip. That could be kind of fun to mess around with as well. You know, it's silly, like, there's nothing really overtly and explicitly directed for us to be doing here, but it will inevitably be fun, whatever it is we decide to do. Let's try and hit the split thing in the middle here. Let's go between these two lanes and drive us straight at that. I kind of wish I had a little bit more of a run-up. Alright, what did that do? I should have probably slowed us down there, because I didn't quite see the crash as well as I should have. Oh, no, we're still functioning. That's a little surprising, actually. Let's see if we can wedge ourselves under... Oh, no, I can't really steer, actually. I want to wedge ourselves under them, these stairs right here, if I can, because this can create some interesting scenarios. Let's get a good run-up, though, if we're going to bother with it. So we'll get all the way out here. This area is quite large, if you haven't noticed. There are boundaries on all sides, but still, it's a decent-sized thing. Yeah, that no thing is kind of bugging me. I wish we didn't have that error. Well, I could always just quit the game and start over, because I haven't encountered a bug or anything yet that can't be fixed by doing that. But let's make our way back toward the steps, if we can steer it correctly. It might be harder to do than I thought. Oh! What happened? Did I pancake? No, not quite, actually. I think we actually... Well, we've totaled the car. I can still move the wheels around a little bit. But we're not going anywhere anytime soon. That is so funny. Alright, let's jump back out. I don't know if funny is not... It's not the right word, but it's exciting to watch for whatever reason. There we go. I get a little bit better of an angle as we see this. Alright, so I seem to be hitting it more like a ramp than I intend to. I kind of thought the angle of that was sheer enough that it would more like split the thing in half, but I don't think that's the case. Oh, let's turn our timer thingy off. There we go. And let's try a faster vehicle, because I think if we can get a good angle on things, this could be some of the most exciting wreckage yet. I can also spawn some steel barrels, concrete barrier cones, a flip ramp, tire stacks. There's all kinds of stuff we can make. What's the Gavril H series? Oh, this is the big truck, I think. We don't want that yet. What's the Civetta Bioldi? There's no options for that one, so we're just going to go with that. I think that's the sports car, right? Yeah. Okay, this looks like something straight out of Grand Theft Auto. Actually, the modeling looks a little bit like it. I have to compliment the developers. Everything feels very naturalistic. You know, all of the little details seem to be present and accounted for, and I know they're still early on in development, so that's pretty good of an accomplishment for them to have that all going at this stage of the game. It seems like they really primarily put a lot of work into the physics system, and then they've just been branching out and working on some of these other details to fill in the gaps from there, and I think, you know, they did a great job. Okay, so we got a rocky area here, which I'd kind of like to see. Did I really just wreck the car smacking into that rock? I totally can't drive. This is silly. Alright, let's reset. What do I want to do? I want to hit a big ramp or something and see how far we can fly, but it's just so hard to drive in a straight line with this car. The trick seems to be don't lay down too hard on the accelerator at first. You got to give it a little bit of a pulse to start, and then once you're in control, then... Yeah, I'm not in control. Once you're in control, though, then you should be able to go as fast as you can manage. Alright, let's back up again. Actually seem to be going pretty well going backwards, so why don't we just capitalize on that opportunity? Let's see what happens here. Oh, this could be interesting. Oh, alright, well, apparently there's a bit of an invisible wall there that I wasn't aware of. I thought we were just headed towards this one pole, but... Nope, good crumple zone there. And what happens when I speed up? Well, that happens. The whole back end is totally gone. So let's do a few more crashes here, and then we'll get into maybe driving around one of the environments, because I haven't really shown you that other than that cliffside, which is very cool in its own right, but it doesn't really demonstrate what could potentially be a little bit more of a formal racing-style game. And like I mentioned earlier, dirt, if that was to be an inspiration, I think we could go in that direction in this game. Let's check out these tunnels here, because I know these are kind of a cool thing. I think the desire here is we want to like spin around and ride on the ceiling or something. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do that. But we can try anyway. Oh, geez. Well, alright, that's one way to do things. What happened to our car there? Did we crush? Oh, we definitely crushed the roof. No doubt about it. Alright, let's reset. Not exactly how I intended that to go, but still could have been worse. Don't go on there. That's just gonna wreck the tires. Can we hit one of these jumps if I get a good run up? Alright, that was a pretty wimpy jump, to be honest. We can do better. Let's, oh, and I guess I busted it already. This car is so fragile. Let's get a good run up and go for one of these ramps. What do you say? I'm gonna have to turn a little bit. Yeah, it's way easier to drive backward for whatever reason. And there's plenty of ground behind us, so we should be able to go real fast. Alright, that's a pretty good run up, I would say. So let's get to going, and I can't even see my destination here. I'm pretty sure it's somewhere off to the right, just slightly. Oh geez, we've already started to lose control here. Just keep it together, man. We got this. Keep it together. We want to make good, exciting footage, and slow down time. And this is how you do those introductions for like every video game trailer ever, where there's like a car flying off of something. This is pretty exciting, though. The angle that we hit that ramp at is a little silly, and it might result in some interesting crash dynamics when we get towards the end of our ascent here, which I am looking forward to pressing the back arrow right about here, and then we will get a little bit of a close-up as we start to approach the ground. Maybe should I approach it from underneath? No, then you can't see when it's coming at us. Little by little, we are inching closer and closer to the ground. It may not appear so, but I think it's kind of worth savoring the moment as we head down. Okay, it looks like we're going to hit at like a 45-degree angle, which could result in some interesting squishing. And let's see what happens. Maybe it'll be a snap effect as things hit. Oh, baby. Okay, yeah, that. Did you see the wheel wells jiggle around like that? Or the tires themselves, actually? Alright, so the whole top is basically just crushed. Totally flattened. The roof is... it's nearly flush with, like, where the engine would be. And we're actually bouncing back up into the air for another round. Oh, look at that. Got some fast dynamic movement, and we're headed to the side. We're going to definitely compress this door a bit and see what happens with that. Oh, there it goes. Oh, yeah. Have you ever seen anything this duplicated? That's not even a word. This delicate when it comes to physics modeling? I don't think I ever have. It's really impressive, and I am so into playing this. It's just so silly to me. Like, I don't even have a reason to really want to keep watching this other than I just really enjoy watching this physics system and watching things deform. I would just be, like, so into it if this could be the norm for every game we play from here on out. Like, if every game had this level of detail and attention given, like, this is totally destruction porn for me. Alright, let's put it back into real time. And, of course, we can't move, because why would we be able to move? Anyway, let's run out to the map select area again. Let's go to main menu. And we will jump out to one of the tracks so we can get a little preview of one of those. I think perhaps the Small Island USA might be a nice place to go. Some of these tracks seem to be more oriented towards off-road, which there doesn't seem to be a very good option for that at the moment. Maybe one day they'll add things that would be better suited for riding on the grass and dirt. It would be kind of cool, actually, to get like quads and motorcycles and bicycles and all sorts of weird transport mechanisms involved. I could get into that. So let's have a quick look around here before we head off. There is some water over in the distance there. The water is not really modeled yet. The engine does not really support going into the water, so just keep that in mind. We can go in there, but it's just kind of like there's nothing there at all. And it does look a little bit silly. So we'll just we'll take a little careful jaunt around, and we'll try not to drive so fast that we end up just crashing ourselves into stuff. Let's go from the driver's perspective here. This is how I would always play dirt whenever I did it. I always felt very immersed in the situation when that was the case. Definitely taking a few frame rate hiccups, which is a little unfortunate, but I think, again, largely attributable to recording right now. And for those of you who don't really record videos or know really how that whole setup goes, the very act of capturing every frame, 60 times per second at best, is extremely system intensive, so you have to have a pretty serious rig to be able to handle that and still play the game at full speed. And, for the most part, we're running 40, or rather 52, 54-ish frames per second, and sometimes it dips into like 48. But a lot of the time it's actually been at 60, which is great. And when you counter the fact that, you know, we're actually going to be rendering this to 30 frames per second for YouTube anyway, you know, those extra little bits of frame rate, they're nice when you're playing the game live, and they do add to a sense of smooth, just like glidey sensation. But when you're actually watching this on YouTube, it really won't make a difference, hopefully. That's what I'm hoping anyway. So we've made our way most of the way around this island. It's a lovely place. One thing I do want to know, though, and I think I should have checked this out when we were in a better environment to do so, but I think we can actually mess up some of the trees as well. There was like a palm tree in the grid test zone area, and I believe at one point I had smashed into it, and it's actually, it like took down part of the thing, or like broke it in half. Alright, I kind of should have done that from an outside perspective. No, it kind of looks like that tree did not really budge at all. The one I saw in the test area, like, definitely broke in, like, well, it didn't break in half, but it, like, bent in half. Alright, so these trees maybe not so destructible. Can we get a normal view here? So let's respawn again. And let's do a little bit of off-roading if we can, if this truck would be able to oblige. And by off-roading, I mean, like, riding right next to the road most of the time. There are some environmental areas that we can check out that are a little bit more suited for the exploration element. I'm not sure if they're more just set dressing, or if there's going to be a real, like, meaningful reason for them to be around, but there's, like, some landmarks. We've got some sort of a grain silo, or some kind of refinery over here, I guess, some sort of facility. Oh, it looks like we can actually drive through it, so I guess there is a reason for it. Modeled the door and everything, probably not even necessary. And little details, this is very nice stuff. And in general, I think this game actually just looks really nice, and especially for a freaking alpha, like, how much can I complain? Alright, so we've hit a tree. It was bound to happen eventually. What can we do? Can we launch ourselves? I kind of want to launch myself off of one of these. Let's maybe marker our spawn point here with Control R. And then we respawn automatically, and maybe I could just, like, get a little bit of a run-up and go off one of these cliffs and see what happens. Alright, not so cliffy, actually, as I thought they were, until I've gone off of them. Wow. Wow, I was doing that move when you breakdance and then you ride on your forehead for a second. That was pretty exciting. Look at this big rocky outcropping here. I'd kind of love to just jump off of this. I feel like we're in that one area in World of Warcraft with the windmill in the middle of it. Westfall, is it? It's over by Stormwind somewhere. I can't remember what the names of these things. I haven't played Warcraft in, I don't know, like 2 years. Still, sort of reminded me of that. So we're moving around here, seeing pretty thick tree coverage here on the side, and I just want to check around to the front of the car and see. So a little bump like that, wow, it actually did a pretty serious bit of damage to the bumper. Wasn't going all that fast. What other landmarks are there around that we can maybe jump into? I'd love to see. There were some houses or something around here somewhere. Or maybe we should just spike ourselves onto a rock and see what happens. Just maybe get a good flip and spin going. Oh! Something nasty happened there. I got myself stuck on the edge of that rock, and then it totally bent and contorted the whole side and back of the truck. That is quite interesting, the way that just happened. Not something I expected to happen either, actually. It totally just jumped out at me. I can still move, but I think just backward, because there's probably something catching on the tire. Or maybe the whole axle is probably just so shot that it's just, yeah, it's probably not even able to go forward. Or maybe it's just stuck on a rock. I don't know, it could be either one. It could be just this edge of metal intersecting with one of the rocks every time I try to go over it. There are also some little analytic type bits of information you can look at if you're interested in the behind the scenes stuff. Where you can see the vertices where the collision and the dynamic movement are all happening. We've got like torque, we've got G's, we've got RPMs. We've got in the top there debug mode telling us about stuff, how many beams and nodes. We've got 23% of the beams on the truck are now deformed, and we've got 3.56% or 120 beams totally broken and shattered. And then we can actually just respawn, and maybe we can see something happen in real time. And see how things change. I think, what's the graph on the bottom right? Is that our torque, or is that just graph of acceleration? It might be acceleration. Okay, can we get a stable view here? That's the one thing, I make a little adjustment to the camera, and then all of a sudden I'm like zooming around in circles over things. Let's get a good run up, and then we'll just go off the rails here and see what we hit. Let's go over here. Oh, that's a good run. Oh, really? Nothing to collide with, huh? We're just gonna go into the water. Oh, this is... Last time I thought I just went straight through the water. Now there actually does seem to be something to hit into. That's weird. Maybe there was an upgrade or an update since yesterday? I don't think so. Very interesting. Alright, let's try that again and maybe actually find something to run into this time. It's no fun when there's no crash at the end, right? This is what I love about simulating stuff like this. You don't have to feel bad. Nobody gets hurt. There's not even a driver in the car, so there's like literally nothing to feel bad about. This is just enjoying physics. And that is pretty wild. Yeah, that's pretty serious damage. That truck's not going anywhere. Let's respawn and change our graph, actually. Can we change to... Okay, what was this? This is torque. So you can see immediately when I hit on the accelerator, torque ramps up, and then we start moving along that graph. And I can also obviously use, you know, pressure-sensitive triggers on the 360 controller. So if I want to just provide a certain amount of torque, I don't have to go all the way out. And obviously, if you're playing a driving game like this, you don't want to usually go full bore on the accelerator. You're just going to end up crashing into stuff. There is a certain degree of subtlety, and I'm not sure to what degree that's planning to be mapped into this game, but I think so far, at least with the truck, it feels fairly on. I would like to see things maybe a little bit more tuned for the speedier cars, but, you know, then again, I've never driven a high-performance vehicle. Maybe I'm the one that's mistaken here. It's quite possible. Actually, very likely that I'm the one that's mistaken. What is this one? Mode 3. We've just got a node thing in the bottom. Collision, we've got names for all the nodes. That's really not all that useful to anyone but the developer. And then we've got collision triangle debug, so we can see surfaces, I guess, that are specifically collidable as we have them enter into our field of vision. So there we go. So we can see those happening in real time, all the polys and how they're mapped, and where the angle of deflection is mapped from. Let me just slow down here so you can get a better look at this. If we could get one of these cliff faces to show up, any of them, please. No, the second I stop is the second none of the cliff faces show up anymore. What about this one here? This one should work, right? No? I'm disappointed in you, cliff face. What are you doing? Alright, these should work. Okay, so you see those little yellow arrows sticking off of everything. Those are showing the angles of deflection of how exactly these physics situations should be calculated. And then, of course, we've got red vertices and then the green polygons to make things abundantly clear, although we're dealing with more of a wireframe. I'm not sure what purple denotates, or demarcates, rather, on the tires there. I thought it might have been deformable or certain sticky points, because I saw that happen one time. I actually got my bumper stuck in something, and when I went to pull back on it, there were like, it almost appeared like purple bits of glue holding the bumper to the surface, because it was actually like intertangled, or just, you know, intermingled with the thing that I was collided with. But I just want to see if maybe I can demonstrate that, if I can run into something specifically. What's down here? There seems to be a building or something, and I crash into it? Well, of course I can crash into it. That's not what I'm worried about. Alright, so then we see a whole bunch more purple than we had a moment ago. And a lot of it seems to be stitching things together in ways. So yeah, I have a feeling that's to do with how exactly things are notated to be, you know, fastened, I guess. So if you were doing like a Little Big Planet level, that might be the glue that holds things to each other. Although, maybe glue's not the best example, because it's not pliable. Maybe more like bungee cords, but like hard bungee cords, so to speak. Can we maybe change cars again? I'm pretty sure there's a few I haven't seen still. Maybe we could bring the big truck into things. So it's the Gavril H, the cargo box. Yeah, I want to see that. It might just be a van as well. Or, oh no, it is okay. It is actually a cargo truck. Let's put the debug mode away here. We could do that. Oh, what is this one? Collision triangles. Oh, I love collision triangles. I do love a little shop. What is this? Electrics? Is that what that says? Oh my goodness, this is so detailed. It's got... Holy garbage. I didn't even notice this before. Water temp, steering, parking brake, low high beam, throttle, parking ABS, RPM, wheel speed, low pressure, check engine, signal rights and lefts, tail lights, airspeed, gear, oil temperature, fuel. This is all of the things that cars have. And they're all changing dynamically as I'm moving around here. That is crazy. With a Boolean state toggling on and off as we achieve certain, I don't know, statuses, I suppose. Let's, there we go. Is this... Okay, this is mapping to the thumbstick. And terrain debug, we don't really need that. LUA performance debug, I don't know what that one does. Alright, there we go. So now we're actually back in. I seem to be having a bit of a frame rate issue right now. Oh, okay, well, that ended faster than I expected. I kind of want to throw one of these box trucks down that cliffside. Can we do that? I kind of want to try that. I have to say the value proposition for this is, it seems to me very extremely good. Just given that even though there's not even really any formal game... Oh no, I think we just default back to the truck unless... Oh, here we go. Let's do this. Gavril H-Series, cargo... Okay. Oh, I want to see this thing break apart. This could... Oh, what happened? We went to one of these guys? That's not what I asked for. Alright, maybe there's certain cars that are more tuned for the sort... Oh, no, there's one in the mix. I think it's just further down, and I'm not going to be able to watch it, I guess. And now the frame rate's starting to chug. Maybe you know, we've overwhelmed the game with too much physics for the one day. Anyway, I guess we should wrap things up. I'm a little sad I didn't get to show you all of the environments, but at the same time I do like to provide some sort of an impetus to go exploring. Plus I also did a 2-hour stream of this the other day, which you can always catch at my Twitch TV channel, which is twitch.tv/RockLeeSmile. There is a VOD available over there. I talked for like 2 hours about various stuff, including like GameStop escapades and other various retail oriented. It was a weird stream. It was like way early in the morning, but still, we did some interesting stuff with crashes that if you enjoyed this, you may want to see more. And honestly, I might just want to record more because it's far too fun messing up these cars. So if I couldn't make it any more abundantly clear, you should probably go check this game out. It's extremely cool, and I have a very high level of promise that if this is where we're at for the alpha state, going on further, this is going to be really, really good. Look at the tires. What on earth are the tires doing? Oh my goodness, the truck. There's just barely a frame of it even left. It's a sad state of affairs for that thing. Anyway, let's wrap up the episode. Links for the actual game are going to be available right in the description of this video, as well as all my social media links. So if you want to go check this out yourself, I do urge you to. Just go head on over to the website. You can also stop by my other, stuff like my website, indie-impressions.com. If you want to check out more in the series, we are very near, if not past, 500 episodes by now. I kind of should be more aware of that, honestly, but I've been recording a bit in advance, so I haven't been counting them out beforehand. But still, it's a lot of episodes, so you can go check out a whole bunch of other crazy indie games, and they're all sortable over there. I won't keep us on a long outro, but, check it out. Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear your opinions on this video. Any comments to do with this game where you think they could go with it for the full version, all welcome to hear, as well as if you've ever seen a physics modeling system like this, because I don't think that I ever have. Let me know that stuff in the comments. Also, if you have any desire, if you like what I'm doing, feel free to leave me some support in the form of either likes, comments, or, if you want to, favorite the video, pass it on to someone. All that stuff is great. I definitely appreciate it. Only if you think I deserve it, of course. I do not like to beg for that stuff, but I do like to remind people because sometimes it gets forgotten. But that is going to do it for another episode, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Be sure to come back again tomorrow. New episodes of Indie Impressions are daily, so I will have another one for you tomorrow on the same channel, roughly the same time, and I hope to see you back here. So have a lovely night, and I'll talk to you later.